Hello, it's a rather glorious Thursday the 17th. I'm FxPlew and this is the market brief. Now, trade negotiations with the US are ongoing. Of course, Starmer remains hopeful of landing a post-Brexit free trade deal with the US. The US wants to lower or remove the additional taxes levied against tech firms like Apple and Microsoft. And Starmer should be conflicted by this because that concession could be seen as a logical part of the standard negotiations, but it could also be seen as him pandering to the US tech giants at the expense of British companies. The stakes are high for that trophy trade deal. The idea of a higher basic rate of income tax seems to be gaining a little traction. That's after Paul Johnson, off of the Institute for Fiscal Studies, suggested it could be a more palatable way for Reeves to comply with her self-imposed fiscal rules. It would be a pretty seismic shift, but it hasn't been touched since 1975 when Dennis Healey was Chancellor, so it could be ripe for a change. I'd welcome your thoughts on that one in the comments below, please. And meanwhile, over in the US, Powell's been on. He delivered a speech about the US economy, and he reiterated his view of balanced risks to the economy at the moment. The Fed is very much in wait and see mode because there is little evidence of slowing growth. That's what the recession doommongers are crying about when they're calling for a rate cut. And inflation isn't a major concern at the moment, despite not quite falling as fast as earlier forecasts had hoped for. He reminded us how US policies on trade, immigration, fiscal matters and regulation are still widely evolving and that inflationary risks remain from the Trump tariffs. These effects could last longer than expected, depending on how they affect the economy and how long it takes for them to pass through to base level pricing. Highlighting this inflationary uncertainty and the risk of slower growth triggered a market sell-off, and the dollar slumped to about 99.35. But we kick off this morning, we're around 132.15 against the dollar, 116.35 against the euro, and euro dollar is around 113.55 on the open. So that's it from me. Thanks for joining me once again. I wish you a very happy Easter and an extra good long weekend for Easter. And of course, I'll cap off with the old classic. See you next Tuesday.
If you do not have a clue, then just tweet through and ask FxPlew.